You're floating. No tether, no ship, no suit, just you and the void. You have about 15 seconds before the lights go out inside your brain. 15 seconds of consciousness in the most hostile environment the universe has to offer. But here's what nobody tells you. Those 15 seconds are just the beginning. This is one of those questions that sounds like a science fiction thought experiment, until you realize it's just science. How long could a human body survive in the vacuum of space with no protection, no suit, no oxygen tank, no pressurized cabin, nothing between skin and the void? Most people guess wrong, and I understand why. Every film you've ever watched has calibrated your instincts for this exact scenario. The person gets ejected, there's a pop, they freeze, they explode. The hero looks away, and the story moves on. Real physics is not that dramatic, and it is not that fast. The actual answer, the documented, medically studied, empirically measured answer, is stranger and more unsettling than any Hollywood version. Because you wouldn't die instantly, not even close. You'd be awake, you'd feel it, every second of it, at least for a little while. So let's talk about what actually happens, second by second, system by system. And along the way, we're going to look at the real cases, the actual accidents that happened in real chambers and real spacecraft that gave us this data in the first place. Because this isn't speculation. We know this. We've measured it. That part somehow makes it worse. To understand what space does to a human body, you have to first understand what space actually is. Right now, as you're watching this, there is a column of air above your head that has been pressing down on you at 14.7 pounds per square inch every second of your entire life. You've never once noticed it, because your body presses back just as hard from the inside. Your blood, your tissues, your cells, everything pressurized to match the atmosphere outside. You are, in a very real sense, an inflated bag of pressurized chemistry, and the atmosphere outside is the only reason you hold that shape. Now take all of that away. In low Earth orbit, where the ISS lives, atmospheric pressure is effectively zero. Not low, not thin, zero. The vacuum of space is not just very thin air, it is the closest thing to a perfect absence of matter that exists naturally in the universe. There are perhaps a few molecules per cubic centimeter out there in orbit. Down here at sea level, you've got roughly 10 billion molecules in that same cubic centimeter. That gap is not just large, it is almost conceptually impossible to hold in your head. Space isn't empty the way a room is empty when the furniture is gone. Space is empty the way nothing is empty. And the moment a human body enters that environment without protection, every system in it begins to fail. Not one at a time, all at once. Let's build the scenario. You're in orbit, 250 miles above Earth, working outside the International Space Station on a routine EVA, extravehicular activity. Standard spacewalk, your suit fails, completely, instantly. Full pressure loss. What happens in the next 2 minutes? Second, 0. The pressure disappears. Your body doesn't immediately know it. The nervous system has a reaction time. The brain doesn't instantly process what's happened. But the physics doesn't wait for your brain. The gases dissolved in your blood, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, were held in solution by atmospheric pressure. The moment that pressure is gone, they begin to come out of solution. Think of it exactly like opening a bottle of carbonated water. The pressure in the bottle is what keeps the gas dissolved. Open the cap and the pressure drops. Suddenly the liquid is full of bubbles. Your blood is the liquid. The vacuum is the open cap. This process has a name. Ebullism, the medical term for the vaporization of bodily fluids under reduced pressure. Your blood, your saliva, the fluid in your joints, all of it can begin to vaporize. Not boil the way a kettle boils. Your skin won't blister from heat. Vaporize, turn to gas at your own body temperature, because boiling point is determined by pressure. At near zero pressure, body temperature is warm enough. Second 3, your skin would start to swell, not violently, not like an explosion, but noticeably, disturbingly. The soft tissue of your face, your tongue, your lips, all of it beginning to puff outward as vapor forms beneath the surface. We know this because it was documented. In 1965, researchers at Johnson Space Center put test subjects in pressure chambers and brought them to near vacuum conditions. One subject, after recovering, reported the last thing he felt before losing consciousness was the saliva on his tongue beginning to fizz. Not pain, not hot, just fizzing. Second 8, lungs. This is where instinct becomes your enemy. Every human being who has ever been surprised by cold water or sudden fear takes an involuntary gasping breath. That's your brainstem. It doesn't check with your frontal lobe first. It just acts. In vacuum, if you inhale, if you try to hold a breath, the gases in your lungs will expand as the surrounding pressure drops. They will try to occupy a space that isn't there. The result is pulmonary barotrauma. Your lung tissue tears. The correct response, the trained response, is to exhale completely. Release everything. Let the void have it. Most people won't do this because the brainstem will override that decision before it's even fully formed. Second 10. For those who exhaled, who managed to fight instinct and breathe out, something interesting is happening. The oxygen that was already in their bloodstream is still circulating, still reaching the brain. It won't last long, but it exists. For those who held their breath, the situation is already critical. The brain consumes oxygen at a remarkable rate. It's the most metabolically demanding organ you carry, and with no replenishment coming from the lungs, which are either damaged or simply exposed to vacuum, The brain is running down a reserve with nothing waiting behind it. Second 14. The edges of your vision go dark, not all at once. Tunnel vision first, the periphery going out like a spotlight narrowing. The brain is losing oxygen pressure. Cognitive function degrades fast, not gradually, fast. Somewhere between 10 and 15 seconds after full pressure loss, you lose consciousness. Not death, not yet, but you're gone. The next 60 to 90 seconds will decide everything. You're unconscious, floating, completely still. From the outside, if anyone could see you, you might almost look calm, drifting. But inside, every biological system is fighting a losing war. The ebullism continues progressing. Your skin swells significantly, not to the point of rupturing. This surprises most people. The skin is tougher than it looks. Early pressure chamber research conducted by the Air Force in the 1960s found that subjects could swell to nearly twice their normal volume without the skin breaking. The body is more resilient than you'd expect, but resilient and survivable are not the same word. Your heart is still beating. Your brain is still electrically active, neurons firing in chaotic patterns as hypoxia sets in. But without oxygen, brain cells begin dying within 4 to 6 minutes. The damage starts at the edges and moves inward. It is not gradual, it is not kind, and critically, it is irreversible. Every second past 30 compounds the debt. Around the 45-second mark, cardiac arrhythmia begins. The heart muscle, starved of oxygen and struggling against the cardiovascular chaos of rapid decompression, loses its rhythm. This is the thing that haunts aerospace medicine researchers, not the vacuum itself, what the vacuum does to the heart. A heart that loses rhythm in a depressurized body, in a vacuum with no one to intervene, doesn't find it again on its own. 90 seconds. This is the number that aerospace medicine lands on as the outer boundary of full recovery. Based on the documented accidents, the pressure chamber research, the physiological modeling, 90 seconds is where the odds go from bad to near impossible. If pressure is restored before this point, and restored quickly, the body can recover. There may be short-term symptoms, joint pain from the nitrogen bubbles, temporary vision issues, hypoxia effects, but the person can survive, intact. Past 90 seconds, the math changes dramatically. At 2 minutes, even with immediate repressurization, you are not coming back. 2 minutes. That is the answer that science actually has. Not instant, not explosive. 120 seconds. Most of them spent completely unconscious, your body slowly and quietly dismantling itself in the silence of orbit. Now, I want to be specific about where this data actually comes from, because this isn't theoretical, it happened. 1965, Johnson Space Center, Houston, Texas. A technician named Jim LeBlanc was inside a large vacuum chamber, testing the integrity of a prototype spacesuit. Standard procedure. The chamber was sealed, and depressurized to simulate the conditions of space. Everything was being monitored from outside. And then, without warning, the pressurization hose connecting his suit to the life support supply disconnected. Silence from the suit systems, LeBlanc's body language changing. Alarm. In an instant, LeBlanc went from a pressurized suit environment to near vacuum. He later described it in an interview. The last sensation he remembered before losing consciousness was the feeling of his own saliva bubbling on his tongue. Just that, the saliva fizzing. He lost consciousness in approximately 14 seconds. The engineers watching through the observation port saw his body begin to swell. They acted immediately, triggering the chamber's emergency repressurization system. 27 seconds after the failure began, Jim LeBlanc started to regain consciousness. He survived. Complete recovery, no lasting damage. He was back at work shortly after. 27 seconds in vacuum, 14 of them conscious, 13 of them not, and he walked away. That number matters more than almost any other in this entire story, because it tells us the window is real. It tells us it's not just theoretical. It tells us that under the right circumstances, immediate response, fast repressurization, a human being can survive brief vacuum exposure. But the other case we have, that one doesn't end this way. June 30th, 1971. 3 Soviet cosmonauts were returning to Earth after a record-breaking mission. 23 days in space, the longest human spaceflight ever completed at that time. Their names were Georgy Dobrovolsky, Vladislav Volkov, and Viktor Patsayev. They were heroes. They had done the hard part. They were coming home. During the automated re-entry sequence, at an altitude of 168 kilometers, just barely at the edge of space, a ventilation valve that was designed to open only after landing opened at the wrong time. The capsule depressurized. The pressure loss at that altitude is functionally identical to full vacuum exposure. None of the 3 cosmonauts were wearing pressure suits. It was a design decision made earlier in the program to save weight and increase payload capacity. They had no suits. The automated re-entry systems didn't know anything was wrong. The capsule continued its trajectory. The parachutes deployed. The retro rockets fired at landing. The capsule touched down on the steppe of Kazakhstan, exactly where it was supposed to. The recovery team ran toward it. They opened the hatch. All 3 were dead. They had been exposed to near vacuum conditions for approximately 11.5 minutes. 11.5 minutes. There is a particular weight to that number that doesn't go away when you think about it seriously. 11 minutes is not a close call. 11 minutes is past every window medicine knows about. The Soyuz 11 crew did not die in a dramatic accident. They didn't know what was happening until it was already too late. By the time the pressure was gone, the window was shutting. After Soyuz 11, The Soviet space program redesigned their spacecraft to require pressure suits during launch and re-entry phases. The Americans had already moved in that direction after the Apollo 1 fire in 1967. There's something grim about how much of aerospace safety was written this way. Not just guidelines written in boardrooms, protocols written in the aftermath of things that should not have happened. So, the question we started with, how long could you survive in space without a suit? Based on documented cases, pressure chamber research, aerospace medicine data, and the physiological modeling that NASA and partner agencies have spent decades refining, about 90 seconds, maybe a little more. You would lose consciousness in roughly 10 to 15 seconds. If pressure is restored within 30 seconds, full recovery is probable. Jim LeBlanc is the proof. Between 30 seconds and 90 seconds, survival is possible, but the risk of lasting damage increases significantly with every additional second. Beyond 90 seconds, the probability of meaningful recovery approaches zero. At 2 minutes, the outcome is not in doubt. It is not instant death. It is not a Hollywood explosion. It is not freezing. It is not an external thing at all. It is your own body, every pressurized fluid, every dissolved gas, every oxygen-dependent system, quietly and catastrophically failing to do the thing it has done every second of your entire existence. The last thing you would feel is the strange, mild fizzing of your own saliva, and then the edges would go dark, and then you'd be gone, which is why the glass matters, why the suit matters, why the 45-minute ritual of getting dressed to go outside matters. Every seal, every bolt, every oxygen connector, every layer of that 127-kilogram suit, it all exists to push that 2-minute window out to 8.5 hours. That is what engineering is for. That is what training is for. That is the distance between 14 seconds and a full career in orbit. Space exploration is, in the end, a story about what humans will do to go somewhere they have no business being, and what they'll build, layer by painstaking layer, to survive the attempt. The physics hasn't changed. The vacuum is as complete as it ever was. The margin between life and death up there is still measured in seconds and centimeters, but humans keep going anyway. If you're the kind of person who watched this whole thing, and you're still watching, then you probably already know what channel you're on.